people from across the world. We have people from Australia, Russia, Philippines, Japan, Mexico tune in to, aka Oklahoma's India tour. I am an independent voice, an alternative independent voice. Um, I try to peek in and listen to the echo chambers on both sides, and I try to make sense of what I'm hearing. Because let's face it, people don't realize that when you allow YouTube to keep feeding you what you want to see and watch because you like it, you're essentially being conducted to be in an echo chamber because everyone's going to have the same opinion on the subject matter because you're just tuning in the thing you like. It's and you know that's what they say, but I have to say that's kind of an unfair statement because I've seen stuff pop on my feed that is kind of like the opposite. But I don't know if that's just me looking at videos that are a little bit different from what I'm watching, and it's just like I kind of instead of allowing YouTube to just send me the videos that are all the same. I'm not going to watch all the same videos. I might watch 2, 3 of the same videos, but then I'll watch something else that looks something that's closely related but different, you know? And honestly, that's what they say about YouTube as content creators. If you can find the thing that's the same but different, that's where your meat and potatoes are. I don't know why I was stuttering. Meat and potatoes are for content creators. The same but different, you know, and your authentic voice. But what I find very interesting, what's circulating the news as far as YouTube world on the airwaves here, on the YouTube frequencies, um, the story of in Cincinnati, I guess there was a concert. I'm not sure. I don't know what type of concert. I assume it was perhaps rap or something. But essentially, I guess there was a Russian. He's not even an American. This Russian. I don't even know if it was his wife, girlfriend, or you know what I'm saying. But they were there to visit and I guess go to the concert. And I guess there's a fight caught on camera. But like all fights, before people start recording it, something's happening beforehand, right? People start recording it because something was happening beforehand. You don't just start filming because someone said action. No. In real life, there's stuff happening. And when people realize there's stuff happening, then they pull out their phones or they have their phone and they just go to video and go, oh shit. They get off their TikTok or whatever app they're on and they go, oh shit, let's start recording this shit. So something happened and we don't know because it's probably not on video. You know, it's one of those things that we have to hear out before we judge what happened and we think we know what happened because we got everybody saying, oh, this is what this is. We know what this is. We all know what this is. Oh, then it's the conservatives. And somehow it went back to conservatives somehow, I guess, because of how the conservative news puts it out there. And to be fair, yeah, they did, I guess, leave out the part where the Russian slaps the dude. But in all fairness, they probably did that because it's the same bullshit that we hear all the time. Oh, he started it. See, this is the proof. How do we know he really started it? When did the conflict start happening? Maybe it was the first contact, but that doesn't mean he started it. And besides the point, he was probably just defending himself. There's something happening, a disrespect, something was out of line. People don't go around, especially, you know, it don't see it for themselves because they are living it. You know, you can only see it from an outside perspective. And now there's a lot of people realizing, holy shit, America has a very psychopathic, unbehaved, unchecked portion of society that's just disgusting. We're all disgusted. We're all seeing the videos that are popping up. We all saw the carnival cruises. We all saw, and we're all just going, your subculture is horrible. Absolutely horrible. You're animals. Animals. Whatever you do in private is fine, but we live in society. You cannot live like animals amongst society. I'm sorry, you know. The crazy part is The crazy part is, you know, it's clear as day, and you want to make it about racism, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not that. It's just literally a subculture within a race is just very bad. And you can say that with any culture, Mexicans and their gangs, and America. I don't know what America has. Some gangs, I'm sure. I don't know, but besides the point, I don't see that behavior from anybody else, specifically outside of gangs. Like I don't know. Maybe it's just in that subculture, it's just normal to be a gang member or to act like one or to aspire to be one. You know what I'm saying? That's just a really weird subculture. That's just everyone's looking at it and going, "Whoa, hold your horses. Hold your horses. We don't like this stuff. We don't like this stuff at all. And what gives you the right to act this way? What gives you the right to behave this way?" People are getting really fed up. You're losing the argument now. You're losing the everything is racist argument because they look at your behaviors and go, "Oh, no wonder they don't take us seriously." You're fighting amongst each other. You're fighting no absolute reason. You're showing us what animals you can be. You don't know how to be a human. You don't know how to act like a human being. You act more like animals, and you don't know how to act like human beings. Problem, and then the thing is, you can't say that because I guess it's racist, but it's the reality. There's a subculture, a part of humanity that's not just it's either not developed fully to be human, or there's just something missing. There's just something missing in the education, or there's something in the music, there's something in the food. I don't fucking know, but something is off. So that is just, I mean, it is crazy. Just all over YouTube. It's all exposed. It's all being exposed, you know? And the same people, the same are saying the same thing. They see their subculture and go, "This is disgusting. We don't even want this. We're sick of this shit." You know? It's crazy. All the videos that exist on that. But yeah, it's pretty insane. So I don't know what's actually happening. They say that they just released pictures of the woman with the huge bulging pink eye and the pink, like she almost looks like a crazy, like that should almost be a poster of oh snaps, I just got an idea. Oh snaps. Oh snaps. Oh snaps. I just got an idea. A really big idea. Yeah, I got a good idea for a poster design that I'm going to do today and put it out there. I'm going to put it out there and see what happens. See if it catches fire. You'd be surprised how a piece of artwork can be picked up by a politician or a political side and use it to create a point. And I think the point that's coming across is that it's not about racism. It's not about who you are and the skin color, but it's about behavior. It's about behaving. And I think people are finally seeing it, that it's not the racism. It's not the, oh, because we just see them as illegals but we only see them as illegals because they're colored skin. No, it's a behavior. It's behavior. People are sick of the behavior that comes with all the bullshit. It's not all just, you know, vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream or what I'm trying to say, it's not all sweet, and people act like it is, and it's not. People bring their shit with them. They bring all their shit with them. They bring all their uneducated selves, all their bad culture, all their everything bad. They bring it with them, and it has an effect on the community. It really does. I never thought I'd be saying that, but it's just it's the truth. But you got to be kind. You got to be kind. You can't like be like, oh, well, you gotta show kindness to your neighbors. That's an absolutely must. I'm not like these other guys who talk shit and then go, oh, ban them. No, I say be true neighbors. Be true neighbors and treat your neighbors the way you would treat yourself. Teach them how to do that. Teach them how to be good neighbors. Teach people how to behave. Slapping is one of those things where it's not as bad as getting like punched in the face. You could get punched in the face, and that's way worse. Getting slapped, I mean, I could slap myself right now. Come on. I just slapped myself in the face. It's not a big deal. It's as much pain as that. That's how much pain I feel on my face, which is not even anything. It's just you feel the contact, but it's not I didn't hurt myself. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you slap somebody and it's like a nice wake up call to reality, right? But the Russian got a nice wake up call to reality, to the fact that there's in America a lot of violent people, a lot of psychopaths. You slap someone and they fucking attack you. It's they don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. We don't actually know what's going on. We get snippets from videos and snippets of what people are saying, and what people are saying sounds like it's true, but how do we really know it's true if we don't double check? They're saying that the guy that got slapped is mentally challenged and is well known in the community for being mentally challenged. So it makes sense that people would go up in arms and view that as like, whoa, you just hurt my brother who is mentally challenged. We're gonna fuck you up. That's usually that subculture mentality is, oh, you hurt my brother, I'm gonna fuck you up now. That's really almost any mentality, but in most cases, people don't really act on that when when we're dealing with something like this. You break my car, or this or that, or something really bad happens, and I could see it, realistically, yeah. But in most cases, for me at least, I would just go to the police, let the police handle it. I'm not going to involve my hands, my fist on anyone. First of all, that's just my philosophy. But a lot of people don't share that philosophy. And obviously, this subculture does not share my philosophy either. Um, do I think it should? I don't think it should be regarded as assault when it comes to a slap, when it's called for. I think when it's not called for, then yeah, I guess that's for the judge to determine. But to be honest, I myself wouldn't consider just a slap an assault, because if some people are stupid, I mean, they get touched and they're like, "Oh, you assaulted me," go fuck yourself. That's not assault. You want to know what a real assault is? you know, like just getting fucking beat to shit, and all this shit. So, you know, you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things that people kind of make a judgment call on the level of violence. I mean, back in the day, mothers and parents would slap their children across the face if they were way out of line. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If it's like, punching, and causing real cuts, and I just slapped myself in the face. Okay, I just proved to you that I didn't do anything. You know, so it's just garbage to be like, oh, a slap is an assault. It may look like it, optics, yeah, because it looks pretty serious, but slaps are not as serious as punches and kicks, in my opinion. That's just slaps are more like you slap someone when they're completely out of line, when they've completely lost it. You've lost it, man. Like, oh, wake up to reality. How many times have we seen it in movies? Somebody gets slapped in the face, they're like, oh, thanks, I needed that. It's not an assault. It's like a high five, but to the face, and you're just basically saying, hey, wake up. you know, you know. So someone's like, frozen, traumatized. Slap them in the face, they wake the fuck up and they snap to reality. Oh, we're in a war zone. That guy's shoulder is frozen. Wake up, load your gun, and do your training. You know, you need a wake up call. Now, the question is, did that guy deserve a wake up call? Everyone's freaking out. Well, the Russians started it. The Russians started because they slapped somebody in the face. Well, let's hold on. Did he deserve? Everyone's saying the Russian deserved getting beat the fuck up and the girl, the lady he was with or whatever. But let's hold on. Let's rewind it. I mean, people who are justifying the beatdown from a slap is ridiculous. How can anyone justify any kind of beatdown from a slap? A slap is a gentleman's way of saying you're out of line or like fuck you. It's not. I mean, I get it, but see, the Russian got a taste of America that is nasty, a nasty side of the very subculture of America that is nasty. It's all these people who listen to all this music that is basically telling them to be violent. Essentially, go ahead and listen to it for yourself. They are telling you it's really cool to be a gangster. I do this, I do that, and it's like, oh, awesome, I'm gonna be just like that. It's a crazy subculture. I feel bad because these people are in one of the most craziest mental traps in modern times ever. They're like that because of the mental traps they're in. They're in a mental slave position. I don't know, they're serving the rest of us in a way because I don't know how they're serving the rest of society as being bottom feeders, but apparently we need bottom feeders to exist. But who knows? With robotics coming to rise, all those bottom feeder jobs are going to go to the wayside, And now what? Now we have really angry people who don't have jobs, who have nothing to do, and are not getting their food stamps. That is a recipe for chaos ready to fucking happen. There's something bubbling underneath the surface of America that is really disturbing right now. And we're seeing it. We're seeing all the bad behavior on full display. And what happens when those people who don't know how to behave in society are you take any comfort away from these people. You take any comfort away, any sort of disrespect, they will your businesses. They will start disrespecting your employees. They will go in. There's no leash on them. They act like animals. They act like an animal that's been suddenly unleashed, and there's just causing chaos. What is this? What is this monstrosity that we're seeing in front of us? What is this? That's insane. That's America. What is that? What is that? What subculture is this that we have this? It gets promoted as good. What is that? That's insanity. That's what that is. That is just pure insanity. There's a cycle of insanity going on that people get trapped in and become part of this subculture, and everything they do is just beyond what people call beyond saving. There are a lot of people saying that these people are beyond saving. That is unfortunate to say that and to believe that, in my opinion. I don't think you should believe that or say that about any group of people. You should never say that about anyone. But I think what they're trying to say is their behavior is so bad, so out of control. Their subculture that they've created within this race is so bad, that it's so toxic, that everything they touch, they destroy. Literally, everything they touch, they destroy. And they're just a walking time bomb. Everywhere they go, a walking time bomb ready to explode any second. You know, of course, it doesn't help that everybody's talking shit about them and just making it worse. But that's just the dose of reality that we all get. If we're ever out of line, we just get a dose of reality. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. So the guy who got slapped, that sparked this whole massive it was a gain up. They gained up on the Russian, obviously, because that's what you do when you're weak and you're cowards, and you don't have the guy that can stand up to the one guy, right? You all have to gain up on him. There's a video I saw of this store owner, jewelry store owner. I don't know what town it was, but it was a security cam video. Literally, four cars line up. It must have been like a day that it was like it was either early. I don't know. It didn't say what day. It didn't say, it was. It seemed like early in the day. There were no cars in the parking lot. Four cars in a row show up. All these people get out of the car, rush the front of the store, literally try to break the windows to steal the jewelry. I guess the store owner was in there, and he just comes out with a gun. All these people run to their cars, go to their cars, and run like cowards. You know what I'm saying? That is weakness. That is pure weakness on full display. That is people who don't know how to control themselves, don't know how to find help, don't know how to do anything in life. There's a subculture that is just basically what people say is beyond saving. That is insane. That is 2025 for you right now in America. 2025. And you know what's funny is people are justifying. They go, yeah, that Russian guy deserved it because he slapped a man. You know, I don't think he deserved it. I don't think he deserved getting beat down like that. I think it's just people who got upset that a friend of theirs got slapped and got basically, you know, for whatever reason, you ever challenge a man in real life, you're gonna get either chewed out, you're gonna be set straight, essentially. You're gonna be set straight by a real man, a real adult in life. Let's just face the facts, because a lot of people, even though they age, they don't actually become adults. You know, and I can say that I've suffered a little bit from that, because in a lot of ways, our own culture is teaching us to stay like childlike people. You know, that's a good thing to be like that. You know, it is and it isn't. It is to a degree, but it isn't if you're not taking care of your own responsibilities in life. Then it's a problem. Then it's a real problem. You know. So, in my opinion, no, the Russian did not deserve to get beat down like that. That was really excessive. And that's what you expect. That's the kind of behavior you expect from people that have no control of themselves. You can't justify what happened to the white dude. You cannot justify it. I don't care what you say. You cannot justify it. It's not equal. That is not equal justice. Okay? That is aggressive, animalistic behavior. That is not equal justice. I don't see how anybody can see that as being equal justice. No, none whatsoever. That was extremely aggressive. The people that are in prison or in jail right now, they deserve it. And people are like, oh, well, you know, that male and female getting beat the shit out of them, well, they deserved it, and I hope they get off free. The people that are in court right now, well, I hope they get off free. Why? They did something worse than the slap. How is it possible that in your own mind you don't know how to weigh justice? Are you so biased about your friend? I think you are. I think you're biased with your friend and biased with your own race. That's the problem. You're biased with your own race. You don't know how to differentiate real violence from a slap. That isn't really violence. I mean, you could say it is, but I'm telling you, some cultures, that's not violent. That's just an act of you're helping them out. You're setting them straight. It's an adult setting a child straight. That's what a slap is. That's what a slap from a man signifies. When a man slaps a child in the face, they're setting them straight from their bad behavior, from their out of control. And some may say, oh, well, we don't do that. We don't. No. I'm not saying, I'm not condoning it and pushing it out. I'm just saying it's a fact of life. Throughout humanity, people have been slapped in the face for being out of control. That's just a real of life. People, grown men, will slap other men in the face who they think are acting out of line and like just behaving way out of control, or they insulted their wife, or something that just really. And that's why some people justify what Will Smith did, because it was just a slap. It's not like he punched Chris Rock in the nose. He could have done that. He could have punched him in the nose, and that would have been way worse. But a slap isn't, it's not like he went to jail. I mean, I guess Chris could have pressed charges, but he didn't, because it's just a fucking slap, you know? To press charges against a slap, well, that's a fucking pussy move, and Chris knew it. He's not going to press charges against a slap. That's a fucking pussy move. So why would the best he could do is do a stand-up special and talk shit about it. But Chris Rock deserved it. Maybe not to that extreme, maybe in private, maybe like, hey, Bubba, I don't want you ever talking about my wife like that anymore, okay? I don't care. Maybe he was out of line, but all he was doing was showing that you cannot be that disrespectful to me and my wife right here in front of everybody, in front of all the TVs, okay? I'm going to come and disrespect your face, see how you like it, and set you straight. I know Will Smith got a lot of backlash, but I'm telling you, man, I think he shouldn't have done that, but he was kind of in the right. But he shouldn't have done that, but he was kind of in the right. So it's a tricky thing. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't have done it, but you were kind of right with what your intention there, with what you were thinking. But it should have been done. It should have been handled better. It shouldn't have been handled like that. But at the end, at the same time, who knows if that was staged? They're actors. Actors slap each other all the time. Who knows if that was staged? It could have been completely staged because the rating. It's not like Will Smith went away. He kept making movies, and and Chris Rock kept doing stand-up and movies. So it's all a win-win for them. I don't know. How do we know for sure that whatever conflict they had between them, it was actually real? I'm sure to some degree, but to some other degree, they're thinking to themselves, we're getting a lot of tension from this. And actors, attention is like their lifeline. It's their attention is what is. It's how they win at life. It's how they, become celebrities. It's through attention. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with a lot of people on YouTube because I don't agree. I don't agree. It's justified. It's not justified. It's not. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. That's all I have to say about it. My opinion is it's those people should go to jail for doing what they did. Should the Russian face any kind of charges? Maybe assault. If you want to try to push the slap as an assault, you'd have to try to convince the cop. So, I don't know. I'm gonna let it slide. He could do that. He could easily do that. I mean, not all judges are like, oh, black and white. No, you'd be surprised how many judges are like, all right, well, I can see why that's justified, but this is not justified. There's no reason for that to explode to this degree. Let's just call it for what it was. It was something taken way, way out of hand, really quickly too, apparently. But who knows? Who knows how long people were arguing with each other? There's nothing. I don't know. As far as I seen, the video starts when they're like starting to have some real conflict, and then as far as I haven't seen the video of the Russian slapping the dude. I just saw a picture of a hand up on like this, and everybody's saying, "See, he slapped him." But I haven't seen the video of him slapping him, so I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. But even if he did, you still have to ask, why did he slap him? It's not some random fucking act. He's not a pranker going with a camera on YouTube going, I'm just slapping random people. You know, the white dude, Russian, was pissed for a reason. Somebody disrespected his woman. Something happened. Something happened. There was an argument. Something happened. There was some disrespect going back and forth. Not that I would fucking care. I would just go, whatever, bro, and just laugh it off and move on. But for whatever reason, I guess the Russian wanted to make a stance. He was like, no, no. I guess slapped a bitch. I mean, he was a guy, but they're saying, I don't know if this is true, but they're saying the guy that got slapped is well known to be mentally challenged in the community. Like everybody knows he's mentally challenged, and so they just know him as that. And I forgot what they called him. It's like his name is Goonie two times. I don't know. It's something stupid. Anyways, that makes it even worse. You know, that just makes it even worse. Like awesome name, by the way. Yeah, okay. Anyways, I'm not gonna rag on the name, but it just essentially it just doesn't just remind you of how just retarded it all is. No pun intended. But yeah, apparently, I guess this guy's mentally challenged, and how is the Russian? So he's probably mouthing his mouth. You know, that's if you look at anywhere in history, when a man gets slapped in his face, it's really because he's doing this. And it's really annoying the shit out of somebody who won't just stop. Partner, whatever, like I would really appreciate it. Who knows? Maybe there was a conversation like that. We don't know. We don't know until, I guess, until somebody speaks out and says what really happened. You know? But I think it's hilarious that people are actually trying to justify the woman getting hit in the face. Yeah, how can you justify that? She had probably nothing to do with it. Maybe she was the spark of the conversation, you know? Some random ass dude had probably nothing to do with the argument, just throws a cheap shot at this woman, just like from the side, just goes, boop, literally hits her like in the collar. It needs to be treated like an animal. If you act like an animal, you got to be treated like an animal, apparently. That's the only way to control this subculture, is put them on leashes. In zoos. If you act like an animal, they're going to put you in a zoo. They call them prisons, but we all know what they are. They're zoos, because that's where animals go. That's where animals who don't know how to control themselves, who don't know how to be human beings, that's where they go. They go to the zoos, where they get to spend their lives with other animals in the zoo. Ooh, doesn't that sound fun? That's what they promote. They promote so much violence and hatred and bullshit. You know, it's almost like they want to end up in the zoo. They're just desperate to be viewed as animals. You know, they want to be viewed as animals. You know, well, don't complain if you end up in the zoo. If you're going to act like an animal, you're going to end up in the zoo. You know, because people have a limit to their kindness. Other people forget. People just have this expectation that everybody's just going to be kind and nice. And you push, you continue to push, and you push. You don't stop pushing, and you keep pushing, and then violence happens. Why do you think? Why do you think? Because you keep pushing it. You keep pushing it. You know? Put a leash on these animals, please. Put a leash on these animals, please. Please do that for the rest of society, because we are sick of it. We are sick of it. We are sick of it. Anybody who acts like an animal, I don't care what skin color you are, put a leash on them. Tame them. Teach them a lesson. Show them how much of an animal they're acting. That should be the norm of our culture. We should all carry human leashes so that when we see people acting like animals, you tie them up with a leash and go, see, this is an animal. This is what an animal looks like. Show the world what animals look like, and then show them how they should be treated, and then shame them for not reaching the heights of the rest of us called humanity. How are you in 2025 going to still be acting like an animal? You know, give me a break. Give me a break, bro. Grow up. Grow up, man. Grow up, dude. Grow up. That's all I have to say. Is just grow up. Go read a. Have you ever done that? How about you go read a book? You probably have never read a book in your life. I'm not talking to you. I'm just. That's what I would say to these people. You know, you can't argue with people who have no thought process. You can't argue with animals. You put them on leashes and you throw them in the zoos. That's what you do with animals. That's what you do. Or you make them your pet. You domesticate them. You make animals your pet. That's what you do. You know, that's how we should start shaming these people. Start treating them like animals. You know, I'm sorry, we don't serve animals. Oh, you're a racist. No, no, that white guy's acting like an animal, and I'm not serving him either. Anybody who acts like an animal here does not get service. How about that? How about that one? You know, you want to come in here like a fucking rhino? Get the fuck out. You know, we don't have to serve anybody. You know, you're lucky we even exist and put this business here. You know, why do you take that for granted? You want to come in here, act like a rhinoceros, stumping around, like a fat cow, angry fat cow? Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to, actually, a lot of people want to see that for entertainment. But realistically, in real life, nobody wants to go through that. No employee who has to wake up early, go to a shitty job, wants to deal with a fucking rhinoceros ruining their day, making it extra for everybody else. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So, you know, let's just clarify some things about that because, yeah, I think we can all agree that nobody wants that. At least everybody in the echo chamber. Echo chambers are hilarious. It's like everybody agrees, you know, and they're like, oh, everybody agrees. The whole world's in agreement. No, just your echo chamber is. YouTube's really good. Social media and YouTube is really good about echo chambers and people getting stuck in echo chambers. It's really good. It's just a natural process because of how the systems operate. You know, you get a lot of what you like watching. So obviously you're going to get a lot of the same viewpoints and stuff like that. And, you know, eventually you're just in an echo chamber. You're just getting the same information over and over and over. How do you know you have a true grasp on reality, right? You got to get out of those echo chambers and get some information over here, get some information over here. You know, oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. You know, you got to be careful. Avoiding echo chambers is really the key to getting a broader perspective on things. So, because it's easy to have an opinion on YouTube and then act like that opinion is authority. You know, I come off pretty chill and easy, and that's probably why a lot of people don't take me that seriously. And my opinion is a little different, from most. So it's okay. And that's okay. That's okay. You're allowed to have a different opinion on this channel. I'm not going to kick you out or anything. Can I do that? But yeah. You're allowed to agree to disagree. But I'm always going to try to hone in on the facts and be as real as possible, you know, with the facts. And the facts are, from what I've seen, if I were to play judge on the matter, I would be like, well, I'll tell you what, let's assess the damage here. Like how much of your action did it hurt the community? This and that, you know, look at that and look at well, there's things that were not in his control, so he can't really be faulted for. A lot of that was in control of the other people who were way out of control. And so obviously they need to be in jail. But it's just funny to me. It's just really funny to me how people really are trying to justify the woman getting hit in the eye and in the back of the head and the lip and all that shit. Like, I don't know how anybody can justify that. That's fucking crazy. And I watched like video, like there's like two videos, right? There's two sides, there's three sides to a story, but what I'm seeing is like really two. One side is, oh, this couple got beat to shit, which is true. And then you have this other side that's saying, oh, but he started it. Like, are we really in fucking first grade? Did we not learn to not, like, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm baffled. I'm baffled at the amount of violence that this started. And honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm really not, because I'm realizing how fucked up America is now. How this not I mean just the subculture, but how fucked up it really is. It's insanity. It's a really fucked up subculture. I don't know why anybody would want to be a participant of it, you know? Forget about it. Get the hell out of that as soon as possible. Jesus. Wow. That is just really bad. Really bad. Anyways, I finished writing my book, so I just gotta maybe maybe I should probably go through Grammarly with the book and check the actual grammar of it and make sure it's all good. And then what I should do is then format it and then get it good, get it ready for publishing. Anyways, I'm pretty tired, but yeah, I don't know. I wanted to just put my 2 cents on this. We still don't know what happened between these two, so that's why I just wanted to put my 2 cents out there. That so many of there's just so many people saying that was justified, which is crazy to me. You know, so I just want to put my 2 cents out there that I think it's crazy that people are seeing justification for it. There's no justification for it whatsoever. Whatsoever is there a justification for that? You know, so whatever that subculture teaches, they're doing it wrong, and people need to do something about it. They need to do something about it because it's not the American way. That's not American. That's not American behavior. I don't know what that is. You know, I'm embarrassed as an American. I'm pretty fucking embarrassed. Like, these are our people. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, why? Like, these are American people that exist today in this state of mind and consciousness, if you could even call it that. Jesus. Do they even have any kind? It seems like they're stuck at level 1 at life. Like, they're not really awake to certain things in life. So are really seriously in a real mental prison. Like a horrible there's no prison worse than that, in my opinion. There's no hell worse than that. I'm pretty sure these people are living proof that hell does exist on this realm. It's true though. Too many people don't judge. Can be the opposite, because America had those civil rights movements and stuff. You'd think it'd be complete opposite, but it just seems like there are a lot of racists in America, and it's not who you think they are. Everyone blames all the white people as racist, but it's not who you think they are. There's a subculture among a race insanely racist. Like insanely. I could say the same thing about white people, sure. If you go probably deep, I don't know, just really, like they really hate the skin color. They hate it, you know. But I think what most people confuse racism with is just somebody fed up with bad behavior. And then now everybody gets painted. Everybody who looks like that is now a victim of being painted as being part of this subculture, which is way worse. You could say it's God's will for those kinds of people to exist. It's God's will, you know. For there's a reason. There's a reason, you know. What reason? I don't fucking know. I don't know. For them to live in hell? I don't know. Why would God want that? I guess apparently some people need to live through hell to learn some lessons in their life or the before life that got them to where they are now. Karma, you know, you believe in karma or not. But it's true. It's true what they say about karma. Whatever you put out there gets multiplied back to you. So yeah, it makes sense that if you look at it from a karma perspective, not that I would say it's justified, but he you know he slapped somebody, which was a physical contact with somebody other than his own body, which really you should never do. You should never do that. You should know, but like I said, it happens. People are out of line. They push. You know, sometimes it happens. But we all know that doing it is wrong. But like I said, there's reality. There's the high standard for things, and then there's reality, right? And the Russian got a dose of reality. That there is a subculture that is completely different from your culture, from your moralities, from your way of doing life, completely different. And you try to cross that line, they don't play by the same rules. They play by different rules. These animals have different rules, a different way of viewing life, a different way of doing life, you know. And unfortunately, like I said, that Russian got a dose of doing a gentleman's slap because you will be, you know, ganged up on and by everybody else because they look at it as a personal attack, you know. It's really interesting. I think black people are probably the only people that I know of. If you attack one of them because you're defending yourself, for instance, they will all get together and be like, oh, and get behind the guy that got harmed. But maybe the guy who got harmed deserved it, but they don't know that. They don't care because all they have to do is go, oh, it was the white man. And they all rally behind together, and it's all the white man. So it's really easy to create conflict and difference and cause division just by throwing the race thing. And it's usually black folks that do it, that throw in the race card thing. White people don't do it, as far as I know, to work with. So I called that filmmaker a racist because that's exactly what that is. You're saying I can't work with you because I'm not the right skin color. That other people can't be racist. That black people can't be racist. You know that Mexicans can't be racist. Oh my God, they can be racist. They can be more racist than anybody I know because they view everything from race. They judge everything from race. You know, I'm having this conversation about race because they bring it up all the time. You know, it's like how some of these like famous actors say, just shut up already. Like it's not that, but you keep making it about that. You keep bringing it up. You keep talking about it. You try to make talking points and make prove your points, and you don't prove anything. But you get Africans, they feel they're oppressed here in America. They're black and they feel oppressed. They go to Africa, they get a dose of reality. They go, oh, fuck, this is not good. Let's go back to the States. Because you have actual freedoms here. You have actual fucking freedoms here, and people take it for granted. They take all these people who act all mad and shit, it's because they take everything in life for granted. They don't appreciate anything. Like, do they appreciate anything in life? I mean, I've never seen anybody like who is like just like, I'm talking about the subculture. I've never seen videos from them going, "Oh, I appreciate this." No, they just treat everything like garbage, everything like trash. Everything outside of them is just shit, and it shows. It shows. I don't know what that is. I don't know. It's just some weird animalistic presence that they have. Like, it's like so fucking weird. It is so fucking weird. I'm telling you, it's not normal. There's something really weird going on there. Like, they're either just not fully developed genetically human beings. They're a little less than human. That's all I can really say. I know that sounds crazy, but how else do you explain that behavior? It's so fucking barbaric. Like, what is wrong with you? Do you not see that you're acting like an animal? Yes, we are in senses animals, but we're not. We're human beings. We're not the lowest of the low. We've created societies, you know? Yes, we're animals, but we have society, and there's just a way to be with society, and there's a way not to be with society. And I think we've seen. I know what it is. I think people should really start teaching on YouTube how to behave. You know, like, watch that channel blow up. Even if it's done for a joke, even if it's done as a joke thing, watch it blow up, because there's a lot of truth to that. People still need to learn how to behave. People today probably have to go through some classes and training to learn how to behave, because let's just face the facts. They don't know how to behave at all. What is that? A lack of training? A lack of what? Are they so animalistic that they literally have to be trained like dogs to behave? Are you fucking kidding me? That's not human. That's less than human. I don't fucking know. If you're telling me that the only way to like satisfy this subculture is to keep giving them what they want, I think you're nuts. I think you're fucking nuts. But, you know, giving them what they want creates money. So, of course, it's not going to stop. But it's fucking nuts to keep giving these people exactly what they want, because they're just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. You know? I think that's what it is. I think it's just people who keep getting what they want and almost don't take any responsibility for themselves, for anything, for absolutely anything. They live responsibly free, or try to. And I think they're mad because they feel that their responsibilities take them away from their freedoms, is my guess. And so they're just always mad because they have to work, or they have this, they have the kids, they have that. Well, I mean, did you make any kind of decision in your life to litigate how much pressure and pain you go through every day? Like, do you litigate anything? Do you manage your life? Or are you just living emotion to emotion like a fucking animal? Like, that would suck. That would suck to live emotion to emotion like a fucking animal without any real process with logic. Oh my God, what a sad life. What a sad, pathetic life to live a life like that. Man, oh man. You gotta be so unlucky, so unlucky to have, experience life with so many shorthands in life, with so many, just, man, you're just so unhealthy, horrible choices, You know, and it's all choices too. It's all choices at the end of the day. That's all it is. Just choices. So, no, I completely disagree. I don't know how anyone can justify that. So I completely disagree with like a whole sector of YouTube. Yeah, I completely disagree with you all. I'm not even afraid to say that because it's true. No matter what you say, it does not justify it. There's not. A slap, I get. A slap, I can understand. But a fucking beatdown like that with a coward just throwing a fucking side hook from the side like a coward, yeah, that's not justifiable. Go fuck yourselves. All of you, all of you who think that's justified, go fuck yourselves. I don't care if the dude was white, black, Asian, Hispanic, who did the slapping. Going, taking it further to like a fucking beat down and literally beating his girl. You cannot justify that. You cannot justify that. I'm sorry. There's no excuse to justify that. Did the white guy start beating everybody down and kicking everybody in the ground? No. He probably just slapped somebody who was way out of line. As far as we don't really know what happened. But as far as from optics, if he really did slap somebody, probably deserved it. Probably deserved it. Doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're Spielberg, doesn't matter if you're Trump, probably deserved it. You know what I'm saying? Probably just deserved to get slapped in the face. Because when you get slapped in the face, you usually deserve it, right? No one just gets slapped in the face for no fucking reason. You were out of line, you get slapped in the face. It's just how it goes. It's just how it goes, people. It's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. Anyways, it's morning and I'm out of here. So peace out. Not a lot of people today. Not a lot of people today.